A little bit faster paced at times than Pokemon may be for a turn-based game, but you do take your turns, and taking the turns is what's going to happen right here as we go into Game 1. Mezzy up against Jeudy. Jeudy. Mirroring Tornadus as the genie of choice, though. We have the Landorus on the side of Mezzy as well, coming off the pairing there.
Instead of 3 wishes, we got 3 genies instead, and Torn Goldengo into Torn Lando would look like an advantageous position for the Landorus player, but I don't know if it's a Choice Band set or if it's a Assault Vest set, and Landorus might not even be able to get the KO on Goldengo, especially if there's another Intimidator possibly coming in. I believe that Jeudy does have an Intimidator. I don't know if Mezzy... I feel like these are actually the wrong sides again. Because I don't think there's a Lando on Emilio's team.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that. Yeah, I remember seeing the Goldengo on Mezzy's side.
All right, Terrestrialization, immediately popping that axe onto the head.
Speed control, the Tailwind coming in from the Tornadus. Will we see it? Yes, in response there from Mezzy. Okay, so roughly even, more or less. Neutral turn. U-turn's going to get that Landorus right out of trouble, though. And Steel Terrestrialization on the Goldengo will wrap up that turn. What's going to be the move out of that?
I would believe a Make It Rain is coming through here. Usually when a Goldengo goes for a Terra Steel, they're almost immediately revealing their choice specs. Pulling up the team sheet here. Yeah, it is swapped again.
Okay.
They did fix it, so we do see the choice specs.
Okay, I was going to say, is that Sash, or is it just actually just built different like that? But
could have been built different, but we saw the Focus Sash activate. Now the Tornadus still in the field. I think sometimes that the Focus Sash item for Tornadus is a little bit undervalued. Being able to keep your Torn alive for like a later game Tailwind is really important. Into Goldengo, though, I like that Mezzy kind of immediately identified this is something I can do probably right away, because there's not much defensive switching from Jeudy's team to be able to, pop in and take that. We did see the Ogre Pawn come out, but it's usually trained as a frailer, offensive, speedy attacker. So it still took a lot, pretty much half of its HP, even from a resisted attack.
Right. Okay, hard switch into the Urshifu is going to happen on the side of Mezzy as we see Terrestrialization now on the Ogre Pawn. Same song and dance we saw in the previous game with Justin Tang and Chris Hahn. Boost will come through. It's going to be Embody Aspect for the +1. But I'm assuming it's probably a different set than what Justin Tang was running before.
I would think so, but the Scary Face dropping the speeds there of that Ogre Pawn, or I think it went into the Ogre Pawn, Embody Aspect actually going to get the knockout there on the Tornadus. And again, focusing on these smaller pieces here. Tornadus being alive is important. There's a possibility of a late game Tailwind.
Yep.
When Tailwind is stalled out, if yours is still around, you can pivot in, get that extra Tailwind. Brambleghast, though, going to hit the field and immediately activate that new ability, Wind Rider, and gets a +1 attack boost whenever hit by a wind move or whenever in Tailwind.
Under Tailwind. Okay, I see. Okay. Good stuff. A lot of offensive capability on the side of Mezzy between that Urshifu and Brambleghast. See move collection coming through. It's going to be a spread, potentially, for this move. I didn't see what was clicked there on the side of Jeudy.
I would think in this position with, you probably have a super effective attack into both targets, but again, Wind Rider is actually immune to Bleak Wind Storm, and it would give it an attack boost.
I see. Okay.
So it's a little bit, dangerous to go for this, but what Jeudy might be thinking is Mezzy has Wind Rider out on the field. Why would he let me keep boosting it? Why would he click Bleak Wind Storm? And Jeudy might just be going kind of into that next layer of Yomi and clicking the Bleak Wind Storm anyway. No Terra available, and if the Bleak Wind connects, it might actually just knock out the Urshifu.
Oh, okay. We will see the KO on the Urshifu, like you had pointed out, but the back and forth between the attack rises and the intimidate coming out from that Landorus switch in still leaves that Brambleghast at +1 at the end of that exchange.
I thought it missed, but I forgot that it has to give you the text for Poltergeist to attack you with your item.
I see.
That's like the thing of the move. It does more damage because it's attacking you with your item, and every Pokemon in VGC holds an item. So we actually get the knockout there into the Landorus, which would be the main way that Jeudy can kind of slow this Brambleghast down. But again, it's It's taken a Bleak Wind, and it's also gotten an attack boost with the Tailwind being up. So I would doubt that the Shadow Sneak would have the ability to KO the Ogerpon, but it is a threat.
We do see the Terra Steel Goldengo come back out onto the field. We're going to see a spread from Make It Rain or something different. Turn's going to come through in just a moment.
The Shadow Sneak into the Tornadus threat is actually pretty important here because, you know, even if the Ogre ends up attacking into the Brambleghast, it doesn't knock it out because usually they will carry Focus Sashes, and then it can even get Strength sapped and basically recover all of its HP anyway.
Okay. Scary Face on the Brambleghast, slow it down even further. Ivy Cudgel going to come in. Is it a double up or is it onto the Golden Go? No, it looks like it will be on the Golden Go instead. Okay, super effective damage right there. We'll get the knockout. And it's down to one slow Brambleghast.
One slow Brambleghast, but one strong
Brambleghast.
And if we see a Poltergeist here target into this Ogerpon, which it does, but that 90% accuracy absolutely ruining that turn for Mezzy.
That's got to be a nail in the coffin, right?
I would think so. I don't know that it was 100% locked, even if you had gotten the KO there. Depends on what Jeudy has in the back. Without access to Terra, if it's something like Fluttermane, maybe if it's Urshifu, I would think, honestly, Mezzy might have been able to win this game if they had gotten that attack off, but now it's looking a little bit grim.
Ivy Cudgel going to be the hammer that drops down, just hanging on with that Focus Sash, but is it even worth it? It looks like the Brambleghast might get knocked out in this next exchange right here. Poltergeist comes through.
I could never run that move, Poltergeist, because the animation when it is telling you that it's gonna connect and attack with the item, it like feels just like that like hesitation when it's about to miss, and it would just give me so much anxiety. And now, yeah, this is GG because you can't really get the knockout before they just go for a Wicked Blow. Scary Face himself just be
they're laughing about it. Okay. Yeah, the last hit, one-hit wonder right there. Crit to boot. Oof. Wow, just rubbing salt into the wound right there. Brambleghast will go down, and so will Mezzy in game one. Jeudy going up one game.
Jeudy, a bit of a poster child for having really fashionable outfits and, you know, also being kind of a darling for the camera. There was a pretty funny meme that actually popped out recently when Wolf and Jeudy had played, where right when the turn was about to happen, they both emoted physically into the camera. Ended up being some beautiful displays there. And so Jeudy kind of hamming it up, going for the Scary Face into his own Urshifu, kind of as a little bit of a flex, like, haha, you missed your Poltergeist, get good, noob. And Mezzy knowing kind of full well that that game would have been, you know, much different if that Poltergeist connected.
I mean, I would be inclined to believe that accuracy is just a skill difference.
Yes, absolutely. So, we call it being the better player.
That's right. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad some terms are universal across games. And that's good to know. What do you think coming into the second game Mezzy can do to adjust? What were the I can't recall off the top of my head the two we didn't see in this pick four, or take four, excuse me. Do you think we're going to see a change-up in kind of the starting two, or is it just going to be a total swap out of the team? What comes through here?
I feel like I have to reverse engineer this one because I know that the main pivotal turn in that last game was the Brambleghast being on the field with the Wind Rider, you know, pressure, kind of like you're immune to that Bleak Wind storm.
Right.
The Urshifu was the swap in there, and Jeudy said, I'm going to click Bleak Wind anyway. And even though it ended up coming down to that Poltergeist miss, we don't know 100% that that's how the game would have, you know, wouldn't have been locked for Jeudy anyway. I think that one turn where the pressure from the Wind Rider did not work in Mezzy's favor. And that's always like the little sweetest details to me is when a player knows this guy is going to play higher into my skill level because I am a high skill player.
Sure.
I am going to call them on that and make them respect that I can still do like the obvious board plays. You can't scare me out of not clicking Bleak Wind. My Brambleghast isn't the threat here. My Urshifu is. So, you know, setting up that late game Urshifu was really important. I would think that Mezzy is going to bring Fluttermane this time.
Okay. Second verse, same as the first. We do see the Wind Genies coming out right here. Tailwinds are to be expected, turn one. But how do the Ogerpon and Urshifu act coming out of this one?
Tornadus and then Urshifu in Tailwind, always a scary threat. You can't click Tailwind and Bleakwind Storm at the same time, but on the same token, the Ogerpon is also on the field for Jeudy, and if they have Woodhammer, they could just possibly get the damage right there, clicking Terrifier, Tailwind, and going for a Woodhammer. Neither player going for the Terrestrialization here, though.
Ooh, okay, Taunt, maybe a prediction on Jeudy going for turn 1 Tailwind. Does he fall for it? I don't know what Jeudy clicked right there. The attack on Bleakwind Storm instead is going to get some damage in on the Tornadus. Is that enough to do a knockout? Probably not.
No. A little bit of damage. It would probably get the knockout into the Urshifu, but more importantly, turn 1, no Tailwind from either player because Torn on Jeudy's side is taunted, and they doubled right into the Torn. They were like, we know you're not going to attack. We have 2 things that are threatening your Urshifu on the field. And this is actually looking really, really bad for Mezzy now.
Yeah, super high level turn 1 just from the jump right there, especially when you consider the Brambleghast on the side of the Mezzy now gets the switch in after the knockout, but doesn't get any +1 consolation prize because no Tailwinds were clicked there.
I am actually really proud of you for identifying how important that was because Brambleghast as a threat is extremely reduced in value. Like it just loses so much more value when it doesn't have that guaranteed +1.
Sure.
All the things that you wouldn't be able to swap into it to take 2 hits are now you will be able to do that. And especially in tandem with something like Intimidate from Melandris, this Brambleghast is almost just going to be dead weight on the field.
Got the Justin Karras stamp of approval. My work here is done. I'm going to go home.
I'm proud of you, man. That was good. That was good stuff.
Terrestrialization will come through right here. Who's it going to be on, though? The Brambleghast. Do we know what type this is?
Usually Ghost.
Okay.
This is Ghost.
Ghost? I can see that. I can see it. Thank you. We just did a Jim from The Office staring at the camera moment. All right, Brambleghast with the Ghost. Terra coming through. Wind Rider will get picked up right there for the +1. But a speed drop on the Chi-Yu.
Usually not that important. Although in this case, because the Chi-Yu survived, I would think that the Chi-Yu getting that speed drop is going to be more important.
Watch out, you're getting attacked by your own mask.
Holy
Ogerpon
cow,
gets
is that a
the
crit?
knockout. Is it?
No, it just did the damage.
Okay.
Whoa.
You said the Brambleghast might be a little dead weight right there. They did pick up a knockout. Probably what seemed like a pretty critical knockout right there on the Ogerpon as well.
Commentator's curse.
Keeps things pretty even at 3 Mons to 3 here. Mezzy's got a little fight in them.
Well, the good thing now, though, is, you swap back into Lando. Honestly, I didn't think that Brambleghast was getting the KO there. That Ogerpon must be more frail than I'm realizing. Chi-Yu, however, being, with that speed drop, again, I don't think it would have mattered too much. You can just click Bleakwind again, and the Lander, but it would have probably mattered because the Landorus would be slower. If it's Choice Band, it might also be Choice Scarf.
I did notice Jody's Urshifu does not have the Aqua Jet where Mezzy's does. Is that just a Terra decision right there? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, the single strike. This is something that everybody actually would mess up. Even competitive players get it wrong. There's no difference in the forms unless you see them like in the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think one of them has their foot up or something. I wouldn't know because I don't pay attention. I just read the team sheet.
Yeah.
And the single strike only has it's dark fighting. And
I gotcha.
The rapid strike is water fighting.
Gotcha. Okay. We shall see. Priority move on the side of Mezzy. We'll see if that comes into effect later on in this game. Urshifu not on the battlefield, though, for Mezzy quite yet. Don't know if we're getting a switch out as this turn comes through. But that Terra Ghost Brambleghast, of course, putting in a lot more work than expected, especially off the back of a huge tempo swing turn 1.
Yeah, and that's just something that I think Mezzy recognized that, you're forced to click Bleakwind to try and threaten my Chi-Yu, and go ahead, give me the attack boost. I'll take the KO right back.
Chi-Yu puts the block up. See that damage does not come through, hangs on for a little bit longer. Brambleghast, a slither of HP as well, but the Wicked Blow will finish that one off. The Brambleghast is out of the equation. Mezzy potentially running out of options here.
Yes, and I would think that, losing your Terra Pokemon, the one thing that was immune to the Torn as well, Urshifu now with no Terra, you haven't done too much damage to the Tornadus. Keep switching back and forth between Tornadus and Tornadus. Hopefully I want to get like a compilation of that later. Urshifu coming back in. I personally have a lot of faith in Urshifu. Can do a lot of damage, but you know, it's staring down a possible late game Torn. This is going to be, it's probably going to come down to Bleak Wind misses unless Jeudy can get enough damage right now into that Urshifu.
Let's see how this turn comes out. We're connecting in right now. The face-off. How much can this Urshifu put the team on his back? Terrestrialization will come through. Perhaps a last-ditch attempt right here on the Urshifu just to stay alive for a little bit longer. This one is Poison.
Correct.
I'm just looking at Justin for affirmation
Yes,
every time I guess the very obvious terrestrialization right there. Rock Slide will come through for the spread, takes out the Chi right there, and it is all on this Urshifu to bring this one home, but it is a pretty tall order.
I wonder if he clicked Wicked Blow or not. Oh, he did. Yeah, okay. So going for the Wicked Blow, not going for the CC because you don't want to lower your defenses. But Urshifu without terrestrialization, without support from a Chi-Yu, not going to be able to one-hit KO the opposing Urshifu here. Even with Mystic Water, which is most likely what the item is. The Landorus, I'm assuming, is what it's locked in to Rock Slide. Again, I haven't seen the item yet. But another Wicked Blow and then just any chip. Maybe a Rock Slide miss and a Bleak Wind Storm miss could turn this around, but I don't know if this is looking too good.
Yeah, there is a world. Doctor Strange is envisioning one possibility in which this this game comes out on the side of Mezzy. We'll have to see how much more work this Urshifu can put in, but it is a tough one for sure.
Yeah. Torn going to come in here so that you can reset the lock-in from the Lando, but
And not even going to matter right there. Mezzy, Urshifu finally falling right there on the side of Mezzy. Jeudy's going to take this one home 2-0 and a handshake.
Yeah. And I got to say, from experience playing against the team that basically Emilio Forbes ran to get top 16, what probably should have actually been top